All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. And tonight we're having Supervisor Preisker lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oh Lord, we come before you today as a county board entrusted with the responsibility of leadership. May your spirit guide our discussions and decisions with full clarity. Help us to navigate the complexities of governance with grace, always seeking to act according to your will and for the benefit of the community. Open our ears to listen carefully to each other, and may our hearts be aligned with your wisdom and love. In your name we pray.
Amen. And now the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if the clerk could call the roll.
Supervisors Kelly, Caprellian, Rossi, Wish, Meyer, and Kolb are excused this evening. Everyone else is in the chambers with the exception of Supervisor Coleman, so we will watch for her to come in.
Thank you. Item number 4, public comments pursuant to section 2-71 of the Racine County Court of Ordinances. Each speaker will be allotted a maximum of 3 minutes, and Vice Chairman Meyer is off on business, so Supervisor Trotter, the chairman of the Finance Committee, is filling in. So first up is Dave Easley. Come on up and state your name and address.
Dave Easley. My address is 101 South Vincennes Circle, Racine. And I'm a member of the board of Racine County Ice Center. I want to express the deep disappointment of the RCIC board and our donors for the failure of Racine County leadership to follow through on supporting the plan to build an indoor ice skating arena for the benefit of residents of Racine County. Early in the process, our group RCIC hired a highly respected consulting firm in Chicago to do a feasibility study. This study showed that, number one, there is interest from a broad cross-section of Racine County residents in building an ice skating arena. After the initial startup period, the facility would be self-sustaining financially, and about 15,000 people would use the facility one or more times per year when fully developed. In July 2023, the Racine County Board, you all approved a memorandum of understanding which stated that if the RCIC group would raise $8 million, then RCIC could expect that the county would consider providing $5 million in funding plus land at a county park. Based on this understanding, our RCIC group spent hundreds and hundreds of hours in fundraising efforts. A year after the MOU was issued, we reported that we had indeed more than met the goal to provide $8 million to the county for the project. The resolution to authorize the county's $5 million share of funding was on the agenda, your agenda, for the July 23rd meeting of the county board. Shortly before this meeting, this resolution was removed from the meeting agenda, and a resolution was substituted authorizing $200,000 for an architectural design study. This substitute resolution
30 seconds.
was actually approved by the county board, but a month later was put on suspension. 6 months after that, which was 3 weeks ago, our RCIC group was informed that the county no longer has interest in the ice skating arena project. This is a huge lost opportunity for residents of Racine County. The ice skating arena would have brought healthy recreation annually to thousands of Racine County residents. All the county had to do was follow through on your portion of the MOU funding, hire an architect and construction contractor, and hire an operations management contractor. Based on this frankly devastating experience, why would any county resident offer time and money in order to partner with Racine County government? Our trust is gone. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Steve Anderson?
Put this up here. Good evening, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Stephen Anderson. I've been a 4-year board member of Racine County Ice Center. I've also been a longtime member of the American Legion, currently chairing the Racine County Youth Day, a successful partnership with the county. I wish to reference you this evening, Jonathan Delagrave's words last May of 2024 to our Racine high schoolers at our Racine County Youth Day. Jonathan spoke of his gratitude to Racine County for the opportunities of living in Racine County and to maintain a comfortable standard of living. Jonathan then expressed to the students his desire to leave behind a remarkably better Racine County than when he first came on board. In Racine County, our young people would wish to reside, work, and raise their families here. Today, in retrospect, given Jonathan's remarks, that shining light was tragically extinguished. That positivity in moving the Ice Center initiative forward with a measured boldness fell victim to a reluctance to appreciate the private monies and widespread community support the Ice Center initiative received. And a reluctance to be proactive and to match the success of the 3 counties that surround Racine County that gladly offer to Racine youth indoor ice skating recreational activity. This is really, really, really pathetic. Thank you.
Mark Hertzberg?
Good evening. I want to talk to you about failed hopes and expectations. RCIC and our generous donors across the community and from out of state are devastated by your decision not to continue our partnership to bring a year-round ice arena to our community. While we recognize that some of this predates Ralph Malicki's service as county executive, we feel we were strung along the last months of our 6-year journey together after Jonathan Delagrave's sudden death. 2 years ago, you approved a memorandum of understanding with us, recognizing this historic private-public partnership. Well, more than a year ago, the county applied for a state grant to help underwrite the project. We were never able to get a status update. We are 3rd from the bottom in rankings of public health among Wisconsin counties. Well, more than a year ago, you talked about bringing the county's health director into the picture, given how important recreation is to our community health. He never joined in. 9 months ago, the Board of Supervisors unanimously approved spending $200,000 for an updated design study. 6 months ago, a week before you and us were going to meet with the architects to undertake that study,
You told us that you were, quote, suspending the project. Tom Kramer emphatically stated that this was merely a suspension pending passage of the county sales tax and not a question of stopping the project. Michael Lansdorf told us that the project was, quote, a priority, unquote. Then the boom was lowered on us 3 weeks ago. There were concerns about operating costs, even though the $80,000 feasibility study we funded showed profit after 5 years, and one of our donors pledged $500,000 to cover operating costs until then. There were concerns that the facility, likely in Haven Park, would be too inaccessible. Yet your Haven Park is used for other youth sports. With this decision to kill the project, you're sending people and their dollars out of the county again. This is the kind of project that I feel the long-term cost of not moving forward in dollars and in intangibles like the growth of the community is substantially more than the short-term cost in dollars spent. I've already given you the example of the Mount Pleasant couple who pulled their kids out of Racine Unified and enrolled them in Kenosha because they have a hockey team there.
30 seconds.
Will a private entity offer to underwrite 2/3 of the capital costs of a publicly operated facility again? Likely not. What a shame. At Jonathan Delagrave's funeral, his mother looked me in the eye and said, "Tell them I want it built." Who among you will break the news to her that she won't get her wish?
Mike Frontier.
Good evening. My colleagues expressed the values that we had hoped to see at the county board. And I must say, we sensed collaboration over the years, but the sense of trust, vision, and legacy that have failed to happen are a deep sadness for us. I would say about a year ago, I saw Jonathan sitting right over here, and he was talking to a county board member, and he asked, "How much is this going to cost?" And John took out a $5 bill, said, "This is what it costs on your property tax." You know, we're 66th in the state in property tax. Jonathan wanted to leverage this, and I realize we're in fiscal straits in the state, a state that starves the least. Our schools are starved. Our cities and our counties are starved. We had hoped to minimize and make more easy to have this recreation opportunity in a county that has tremendous health issues. We have very high morbidity rate, 70th in the state out of 72 counties. This would address some of that. We know the benefits. You've heard my colleagues say that. It's a huge lost opportunity to the residents of Racine. We're grieving this loss, but we wish you courage in moving forward in these fiscal constraints. I had a brother die in a tragic accident in Italy 50 years ago. They use a word there that we don't hear very often here, coraggio, courage. I wish you courage in facing these challenges and hope that you will create a county that will be the MD of state and serve the people who reside here and look to your leadership with care and vision. Thank you.
Mark Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. I am the newly appointed president for the Racine Area Manufacturers and Commerce. As president of RAMAC, Racine's business champion, I represent a diverse business community, including small and large businesses, industry, retail sectors, and both profit and nonprofit organizations. RAMAC is dedicated to enhancing the business climate and vitality of the greater Racine area. Discover Wisconsin is the nation's longest running tourism show and is well positioned to promote Racine County as a premier destination for business and tourism. This partnership aims to showcase Racine's unique attributes, attract investment, and drive economic growth. This collaboration is crucial for attracting new businesses and visitors and as a result, enhancing job opportunities and workforce development in the region. In 2023, Wisconsin tourism industry achieved a historic $25 billion economic impact. More specifically, Racine County received $525 million in tourism spending, marking a 7.7% increase from the previous year. I respectfully request the county's board support for this initiative, which offers significant long-term benefits to Racine County economically and to the community itself. Thank you.
Thank you. M.T. Boyle.
Good evening. I'm MT Boyle. Thank you so much for having me speak for the 3 minutes. If those of you who don't know me, I'm MT Boyle, who runs Experience Burlington, and I'm here to ask for your support for the Discover Wisconsin contract. I am laughing because you received 2 videos today that talked about the benefits of this contract. You just had Mark Lewis, the new CEO of Racine, talk about the benefits of this contract. And little old Burlington, which is the #2 city here in Racine County, is also asking for your support around this contract. Because like Jerry Grieving said from Visit Racine County, if you watched her video, there's a couple of like auxiliary benefits to this. One of them is just the fact that not only is Discover Wisconsin well known, it's obviously going to bring a lot of tourism here. There's also like this thing called assets. So we're going to have a huge multitude of 4 years of video and photos and things like that that we can use for ourselves to benefit our county. It's also really important that it's a multi-year contract. That is huge for the tourism industry. To have a one-off or a 1-year contract, then you only get 1 year. Now you can build off 4 years of really being targeted with who we want to attract here. And so, because that doesn't include just tourism, but also includes attracting people here to realize how great Racine County is. As you know, tourism is just one aspect of economic development. You want people to come here. You want people to start seeing themselves living here, going, hey, there's great companies I can work for. There's great communities that I can live in. I can raise my family here. I see my Burlington peeps over there. So I'm just asking you today, you are faced with this vote. I urge you to accept it and approve it, because I think it's a game changer for this industry that we all work in. I'm just going to tell you, my colleague over there from Waterford is here. So we're all excited about it. So super excited. And I hope that you vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Fearing.
Good evening. My name is Donna Fearing. I am Executive Director of Explore Waterford. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening. We, the community of Waterford, and all of our communities within Racine County would truly welcome and appreciate Racine County voting yes in support of this Discover Wisconsin partnership to showcase the greatness of our county. The opportunity to improve exposure for our communities through Discover Wisconsin is incredibly valuable for a lot of the reasons everyone else mentioned ahead of me, as well as tourism, which does play a vital role in fueling our local economy. It supports small businesses, it creates jobs, it brings new energy to our downtown, but also rural areas alike. By investing in this initiative, you're not just promoting tourism, but you're investing in the growth and vitality of Racine County as a whole. Please vote yes to help strengthen our community and our county. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments tonight? Seeing none, we'll go on with item number 5, a presentation on linking families through collaboration. Interagency partnership between RUSD, United Way, and Racine County Human Services. You're on, Hope.
Okay. I'm actually going to turn over to Allie to kick it off.
Okay.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Allie Haig. I'm the president and CEO of United Way of Racine County. I just want to thank you for letting us come before you and just give you a little bit of an overview of some of the work that we have been doing both individually and collaboratively as a group to affect kind of broad change within our community of Racine County. I think that many times as leaders within the community, you're asked, what are we doing to support Racine and the people that live here? And no matter where you live, ultimately, all of us want to see our communities thrive and our families be successful. And I think in many cases, there's often a misperception that there's a lack of collaboration and joint efforts, which is something that the three of our organizations/entities are often working together on a very regular basis to address major challenges within our communities. So let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit. What we're going to be focusing on today is a combination of different things, but really talking about the interconnectedness pillars of family well-being. So we want to look at how we as entities are working to address both proactively in the early stages of early literacy and early education, but also helping to support individuals in need in the moment and how we can come to aid for them. Also talking a little bit about the cross-sector collaboration. That's very important. So we don't want to duplicate services. We want to be smart about how we're investing in our community and make good choices as it relates to those different areas. And then talking about prevention of challenges. So what I mentioned before, being proactive rather than reactive. All three of our entities have heavy focuses on those areas, trying to avoid our community having long-term costs in whole. So with that,
This is me. All right. So this slide, I gave a handout to everybody here. This is a longstanding slide that we have shown to County Board. And for those of you who have seen this already, this was often a favorite slide of individuals because it is based on the science of an investment of social service programs. And it's from an economist, James Heckman, that did research specifically on early childhood programming, investments from birth to 5 years old. And the highest return of investment does occur when you put money into that age group. And on the back side of your handout, there's 8 guiding principles that are aligning to the Heckman curve. And in there, you'll see that those effectiveness have shown effective on community outcomes such as health, education, and work readiness. Areas that are very near and dear to the three of us here. So I wanted to re-bring up this slide here just to show the approach that Human Services has taken along with our community partners to continue to invest in the prevention that Ellie talked about earlier, because it really does help with deep end services later on and the mandated services that we are tasked with. Slide might be me too.
So I think it's important to note that as an individual entity, United Way invested in more than 100 different programs in 2024 and supported more than 90,000 Racine County residents, and that's unduplicated by program. But what's even more important for me to bring up in front of all of you is due to joint investment opportunities between United Way and Racine County, we have been able to support more than 28,000 Racine County residents, supporting and investing in approximately 35 different programs. These programs range in a multitude of different focus areas, but a couple that I can provide examples of is one being Racine Vocational Ministries. We funded a program that was called Second Chance Women, where 80% of all women that went through the program met their 3 goals of drug and alcohol recovery, stable housing, and increased household income. 100% did not go back into the prison system and were not arrested for any other offenses, which is great. We also invested in programs like Great Lakes Community Conservation Corps. Sorry, that's a mouthful. It was a program called Urban Ag Vets Program. So what it did is brought in homeless veterans and trained them on agriculture and food production. 70% of the individuals that participated in that program maintained and got jobs. And there was over 1,800 hours of training completed through that program. And last example I will give is the legal advocacy services provided by Women's Resource Center that provided more than 700 individuals assistance pursuing legal support. 491 individuals obtained or began the process of restraining orders. So those are all very important support services needed in our community. And because of our partnership with Racine County, we're able to provide that aid along with many other examples.
Okay. I think most of you are well aware of our Universal Home Visitation Program, but just as a short reminder, it is a program that is administered through our Division of Public Health, offering every new parent a home visitation visit from a nurse. That's helping to navigate the new challenges of parenthood and connection of resources in a universal manner that's destigmatized. So regardless of income, socioeconomic status, or zip code, individuals have that ability to have a visit from a nurse to help with coordination and parenting supports. And when we talk about prevention, it's fostering the supports right at the beginning. You can't get much earlier than that besides prenatal supports, obviously. But one of the focuses that we're doing there is connection to literacy and many of the programs that Allie talked about, including Imagination Library. So it's just demonstrating yet another way that we're all interconnected. One of the things you may not have heard about is our new venture of a literacy coordinator. One of our team members came up with an innovative idea that most of our certified in-home providers for childcare are often serving individuals on Wisconsin Shares. And while we certify providers to watch children that are Shares recipients, we are really just ensuring that the environment is safe for youth, but we're not making sure that there's quality programming or educational and developmental supports. So we were able to repurpose unutilized funds, grant funds from our child care certification program to help support our certification providers, partnering with the Racine Literacy Council as well as United Way. So they are the employer of record, and they're tapping into the vast resources and networks of the United Way and building upon existing connections that they have. So we're able to serve approximately 25 certified providers. They get a toolkit, connection to books that are age appropriate, and getting a library card, and a lot of things that are actually free but underutilized resources for our community.
So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jody Bloyer, and I am the Deputy Superintendent for Racine Unified Schools. The work that we are doing together, especially before young people are coming into our schools, is critical. More and more research is telling us that it is so important to actually talk to babies. Talk to them, not the goo-goo and gaga, but actually have conversations with them that leads to improvements in literacy, which also feeds right into the work that we've been doing using the science of reading. If you've heard that term before, the science of reading in our kindergarten, even as early as 4K, all the way through third grade, has shown some significant improvements since we've started working with that. You may have also heard about Act 20, which is an initiative in the state. The work that we're doing with our young people in Racine County in those grade levels has shown, as you can see on this graph, some significant improvements, doubling their proficiency in some spaces and getting up to that 80% proficiency by the time they're entering into first grade. That is critical because we know that when young people get to that age or the grade of third grade, that is when some spaces start to predict their success and ability to graduate, and their involvement in things like incarceration. So in that third grade level, a lot of predictors and determinations can occur. We also know that to stop those kinds of things, literacy is the #1 indicator of being able to show the success on the other side, graduation and being successful post-secondary. So we're really proud of these results, all of us working together and providing those resources that allow us to do the very best work we can once they enter the school system, 4K through first grade in these and then beyond to third grade.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure.
Yeah, this is me.
This is we didn't rehearse that.
So we also in the schools have what we call our FIT coordinator, Families in Transition. Such a critical piece for us. This past year, we just got our numbers in, and Racine Unified School District in this county served 960 students who were in that FIT program, meaning that they were either staying in shelters, in housing other than their own, or sometimes without any roof over their head at all. We know that that can lead to many things, like a lack of attendance, some insecurities in terms of friendships, having to move schools, those kinds of things. So our FIT coordinator is able to provide that transportation, keep them in their school setting with their friends, and provide their families with resources, many of which come to us through the county and the work that we do with the United Way, to give them the stability they need during the school day. And it also provides some opportunities for support for their families to help them get themselves back into some housing or stability so that they can have that transition from school to home and back, feeling confident with what they are able to do. So we try to keep them in their same schools. We keep them with their friends. We provide those supports so that that can be their stable environment while they're going through this transition. Again, 960 students in our county and area that we were able to serve last year through these collaborative programs that we have.
Oh, can you go back, John?
So Jody talked a little bit about the individual. Last year, United Way of Racine County invested more than $200,000 into the organizations that are listed under our name. That equated to supporting about 1,800 individuals in Racine County that are experiencing homelessness or may be about to experience homelessness. I think what's important to note is that we talk about the individual. Where United Way comes into play is that we're supporting individuals through the organizations that we're investing in, and we're a great accountability partner. So we're working with those organizations to ensure that they have the support they need so that they can do the job to the best of their ability. We have reporting requirements. We meet with the organizations. We review their financials. We do all of those things to ensure that they have the support they need so that they can be successful and keep doing the job that they're doing to help our most vulnerable individuals living in Racine County. And when there are challenges, we come to the table and we try to identify ways that we can resolve those. And the county and the district are at that table as well, which I think is important to point out.
So I'm going to ask the board a question. How many of you, just with a raise of hand, are familiar with, sorry, we're back again, John, with the continuum of care, that name? Okay, so about 5 people. And I think that is probably, that's impressive. I was expecting 0, to be honest with you. And part of the reason is that we do have a very siloed system in the homeless intervention work. And I do feel that housing insecurity, and I think we'd all agree, and housing affordability is one of the biggest challenges our community is facing. And because of the broad size of our county and the only universal homeless shelter is east of I-94, I think that contributes to the vast geographical diversity in our community. And we do need to have a more unified, coordinated response, which is the intent of the coordination of the continuum of care. So HALO has expressed a desire to back away from this role. And so we're collectively working together to figure out how we're going to piece together what we feel is a broken system for housing insecure individuals. Now you can go on. Oh, this is me again. I'm so sorry. So in 2001, our youth and family team found an innovative solution to help support families that are at risk for voluntary services. So something that we had typically done is wait for system involvement for individuals and families, because we believe, and we still believe, that it is important for us to not have unnecessary government interventions with families. Families do best when we don't have to force ourselves into them, but if we have to, we do. But investing in voluntary services takes strategic reinvestments. And so the county board, and I've talked about this several times to some of our legacy county board members, that we invested $3 million back in 2017 to shift to more prevention-based services and being able to demonstrate that prevention does yield returns for our families. So our Boost program was developed a little later on as a voluntary arm for this, where all of these individuals that you see from 46 all the way to the 328, did not have to have system involvement in our child welfare or youth justice system because they proactively reached out to us. And this helps obviously with school systems as well, because a kid that is doing well and supported with their families stays in school and remains educated. Okay.
So the Community Connectors, it's I guess, a position in our schools that is really near and dear to my heart. It was born out of something that I started in the community called the EDGE Task Force, Eliminating Drugs and Gangs Through Education. Earlier in the presentation, we talked about the Racine Vocational Ministry. They are a part of our EDGE Task Force. We meet monthly, and it is a very community, county organized opportunity. There's many members from HSD, the school, police, our RVM, Racine Vocational Ministries, all sorts of people, and we come together and we really try to talk about safety nets that our young people need. In talking about that, we need the people to provide those safety nets. So we was born the Community Connector position. We have them in 5 of our schools that we knew have the most challenges. The Academies of Racine at Case, the Academies of Racine at Horlick, Park, Mitchell, and Jerstead, which are 2 middle schools. And those community connectors, there are 2 of them, 5 of which are from the school district and 5 of which are from the county. And they work during the school day to connect our young people through those safety nets from school to home, maybe school to work, school and family. And they really provide that continuum of support. So we're really bridging that gap between what I call the 8-16 gap. So we're with them 8 hours in the school day. They provide that bridge and gap closure for those 16 hours that they're not. Later on, you will talk about how they also support our youth employment initiative and different things, but they have become vital to our young people in really building confidence, building their academics, building their attendance, lots of life skills. They participate in something called the Own It program, Building Futures initiative that is supported through the county. A lot of good work that comes into taking some of our children that might be falling through the gap, or what we might call a gray area young person, or someone that might be walking down a path that is going the right way. We pull them back and they have mentors that can understand them, work with them, and help keep them engaged in positive experiences. That has been a great collaboration, something that we started, we established the EDGE Task Force in 2019, and shortly after that established this Community Connector position, and the fruits of it have been just wonderful. And I know they continue to grow, and the number of young people impacted continues to grow as well. So that collaboration has been one that we're really proud of, and that has really touched a lot of young people and kept them either out of court affiliation, or has helped them through that process to get them to the other side.
One of the other things that our community connectors do is help to support our summer youth employment program. We have one of the most robust summer youth programs in the area. And one of the things that is different is we are providing opportunities for youth that most have not had any employment prior to engaging with us. We have completed 4 successful years, and we're on our 5th year. And it has unbelievable public, private, and nonprofit partnership. All 3 of us work very closely in it, but half of the program is supported by Racine Unified. The completion rates have grown from 81% in the first year, in the inaugural year, to 100% completion last year. 124 youth and 50 employers. And none of this would be possible without the support of United Way, who helps to fundraise and support for us. A lot of agencies want to support nonprofit communities, and it's a partnership with them. And we have a significant overlap with youth and Racine Unified as well. So it is a broad, full county partnership, and there are employers west of the I as well, and we want to expand even further. So for those of you that are outside the RUSD school district employers, we encourage your participation. We want to continue to grow the program. I think that's, I don't really need, I think I talked about all that already, so it's just another slide. Okay.
Yeah, so when you look at the youth employment initiative, it's really important to us because it really captures young people in that freshman, sophomore years, few eighth graders that we have in it as well. And we really start exposing them to those responsibilities and to that working experience. The community connectors then go out and check on them in their work during the week. Talk to the employer if there's something they need to work on, if there's something happening, if they need to get to work, whatever, to really build that capacity. It feeds very nicely into then, if you've heard about in Racine Unified School District, our academy model, where young people are really exposed to some great college career and life-ready experiences. Our youth apprenticeship is something that we're really proud of as well. Over the last 4 years, we've had 226, we've grown to 226 young people involved in that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. That is a collaboration with RAMAC and so many employers in the community to provide opportunities for our young people to get experience in real life working situations that often turn into their career or college pursuit. Our young people are also during the school day earning industry recognized certifications. And the next time, or the next slide, I'll show you some of those numbers as well. Dual credits, where they're actually earning college credits in high school that they can come in. There was just with a young man, Jaden, about an hour and a half ago, and he's up to over 20 college credits, which means he has over a third of his associate's degree completed before even entering Carthage College in Business and Marketing next year. And then the college and career readiness piece is, of course, so many things. We have a skills rubric, if you will, that again, we've partnered with RAMAC where young people can actually earn that if they meet a proficiency level in those skills that we want our people that we employ to have. They can have that. It's a certificate that they can show, and many of the businesses recognize that they are proficient in those skills and will provide them with an interview, or they are guaranteeing them an interview if they've reached those proficiency skills. So on the next slide, you'll see the credits that we've earned. Our youth apprenticeships, when we started this, again, with strong partnership with RAMAC and the RAMAC family, grown to 226 of those opportunities. Students that are in those youth apprenticeships have to be in a duly aligned class during the school day as well. So they learn those skills, then they go to work. Students earning dual credits, you can see that increased to 1,300 students earning dual credits in our schools, which is, if you think about the amount of money saved, is just incredible. And again, partnerships with places like Gateway, making sure we have opportunities with employers, and making sure that we have teachers who are able to teach those courses because they have to have certain skills to be able to teach those. Our certificates earned, though it's industry recognized certifications, again, you can see that those nearly doubled as well. We had 1,900 of them earned in the 23-24 school year. So those are things that young people have regardless of what they pursue post-secondary. They have those industry recognized certifications that they can carry with them. And if life alters or they change their mind, they have those as a backup. You know, we always talk about them that they're never taken away. And then 221 of those are Act 59 eligible. So they're recognized by DWD as those kinds of industry recognized certs that are in high demand in the state, and they're Act 59 eligible for us. Overall, I think it's really important to share that when you look at these different areas, youth apprentice, dual credits, sometimes you hear them called transcripted credits, and certificates earned. In the state of Wisconsin, Racine Unified School District, this county, our young people in these spaces, we actually lead the state in those areas. They are not, we're one of 14 states that those three components are not recognized on the state report card. So you won't see that on the state report card. However, I think we can all be proud to say that we lead the state in those three areas. We're always top 5%, but we currently lead the state in those three areas. So something we can all be proud of. It does not happen within the school walls. It takes a community, it takes a village, it takes businesses opening their doors and businesses coming in, and our young people getting those experiences. So something we can all be proud of.
So I think in closing, a couple of key takeaways that we want to try to get across is, one, from birth to college career ready, right? So whether it's Hello Baby or Imagination Library that provides free books to every child in Racine County until the age of 5. We know 40% of those kids going into that program have less than 10 books in their house when registered. That early literacy preparation is preparing them for success. All the way to the end where we're talking about being prepared for career and college readiness and having pathways and amazing opportunities for our kids to get credentials and have more opportunity as they transition out of high school. Those things are all done in collaboration with these 3 entities. And whether it's an individual entity layering on top of another one, so maybe we have separate programs that complement each other, or if it's all 3 of us along with other community leading agencies getting together and talking about the challenges and how we can work collaboratively, that is a big part of this as well. And I think it's important as community leaders that you all see that and you know a little bit more about that, because this is really great work that the county's doing and you all should be extremely proud of that.
I guess that wraps up the presentation.
Is there any questions? Supervisor Miller.
Excellent presentation. Could you give us a little background on what Act 59 is or does?
Yeah, so Act 59 is at the state DWD. I'm not well versed in it. What it is it's the certificates that the DWD has recognized as some of those most important ones and where we need them in the state. So it might be a industry recognized CNA certification, right? Welding, yes. And so what happens is our young people, when we are able to turn those into DWD as part of our filing, they actually give money back up to, I think, $1,000. Like if you look at protective services, we had our first youth apprenticeship in our fire in the fire station. That one actually, as they move through it, they can actually, the young person can get $1,000 or $1,500 in their pocket once they complete it as well. So it's really looking at those things that are high need areas in the state that DWD recognizes, and then there's a return on that investment for us so we can continue, because it costs money to get those. Then they can give it back to the community or to the school district, and we can continue providing those opportunities for young people.
Supervisor Rakowski.
Thank you, Chair. You mentioned 960 people in the FIT program. Is that a number that continues to rise every year, or is that? And how many students are enrolled in Racine Unified at this time?
Yeah, so currently I think it's 15,831, I believe, the last time I looked. But yes, so I have myself, since being in this position, which is in this area that I've been working about the last 3 years, I've seen that number grow. It was at about, I think it was 820-ish a year ago, so 960 this year. And those are students, it could be 2 or 3 students in a family, but those are 960 students that we've served last year. And unfortunately, that number does continue to grow. The mobility of those young people is where our real concern is, because they can't get a foundation for their learning. So it's really important that we find them, grab them, and support them through their academics.
One more question. You mentioned literacy support in the child care homes. Is that you're providing materials, you're providing coaching? Is that an ongoing thing, or?
Yes, and yes. So we have an actual position that's helping to coach not only the families, but also the certified provider. And that is an employee that is with the United Way. So as I said earlier, it was tapping into the resources and network of the United Way, but then also the county as well, and helping to support, kind of the developmental stages, giving the right books, the tools. In the Racine Literacy Council put together a toolkit that we give each of the homes. And then we have incentives based on milestones for each of the families and providers being able to complete those. Yeah, thank you.
Supervisor Hopkins.
I may have missed this, so you can clarify it. Obviously, a lot of great work going on between the county, United Way, and Racine Unified. A lot of great things are happening. I may have missed just the nature of the collaboration as far as are you meeting on a monthly basis, quarterly basis? I mean, what is the nature of that collaboration? What does it look like?
Sure. So just on behalf of the county, and if you guys want to add into any of this, we meet routinely just as, fellow leaders in the community, and we talk about issues, that are kind of community-wide, how we're individually addressing it, brainstorming ways that we can, solve it collectively. So some of the things are what we shared with you. What has evolved from there is also some standing meetings to address issues. So VCRI is something that we are all participating in, which is the Violent Crime Reduction Initiative, because it obviously interfaces in all those areas. We've been having meetings convened by Wingspread that's surrounding some of the housing insecurities and challenges with, the continuum of housing challenges. And we've all participated in that as well. Trying to think of some other areas that we've partnered in. Is there anything I'm missing?
Well, I'd say too, as there's major community challenges, so COVID is a great example. So when COVID hit, myself and Hope got on the call and said, okay, how can we support the community? So we pulled together a group of different entities, government, education, nonprofit, and we met every 2 weeks during COVID to talk about how we could support the community. And through those efforts, we were able to raise about $500,000 for the community and reallocate it out into programming that was supporting those most impacted by COVID. So things like that happen on a regular basis that might not be permanent, but
Right.
we're addressing it as it's coming up.
Okay, just curious to see what that looks like on any given month, or like a lot of it is based on what the need immediate community is, like COVID and things of that nature. So,
And literacy came from that as well,
Yeah.
as a challenge, like a collective challenge that we meet on a routine basis for that, for sure.
okay, thank you.
Supervisor Shakur?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a question and a comment. The question is, in regards to, maybe you can give me a idea how you involve the parents, guardians to get involved, to help out in this initiative?
So I think probably the most obvious, and I didn't go into a ton of detail with this, but was the Boost program. So that's, again, the investment that we made many years ago to help to support families on a more proactive, voluntary basis. So saying we're here to help, not to use that phrase, but we want to be here to support you prior to a crisis arising. And so the intent of that really is to provide all of those wraparound supports early on before something escalates into a serious situation, either in child welfare or youth justice. And that caseload has grown tremendously. There is a fear that there was going to be reluctance of partnering with government to be able to reach out to us, but we've, I think, done a good job building credibility with the community through those various efforts. The connectors and the work that we're doing there is, we try to do a whole family and whole community approach, looking at it, from the entire continuum of supports that are needed. And so we're working in that capacity there too. So if there's crime and violence, that's impacting the entire family. And so we're trying to address that family unit, provide in-home therapy interventions, both immediate and long-term.
Can I give just a couple examples too? I've often talked with Jim Schatzman through the EDGE Task Force too, where if parents are coming out of incarceration, there may be a reluctance to come to the school or haven't done it in a while or want to re-engage with their young people. I've always told him that I or my connectors will walk with them through that door for that first initial time. That's one of the ways that we definitely can connect with parents as well. We also attend some of the neighborhood watches where parents may be there, and if they're unsure of things or don't know where to go, we will help them. Our connectors will help and provide them with resources. Our connectors also are in the COP houses, the community-oriented policing houses as well. So just all these different spaces that we try to engage our parents in becoming more involved in the lives of their young people. One specific and anecdotal one I'll share with you is we were working with a young person. Mom was struggling raising kids, was minimum wage job, second shift, kids were by themselves. You can imagine what happened. They came and talked to me. I called a couple people and we got her a job. She was a great worker, just couldn't get her foot in the door, got her a job. She, in about 4 months, became a supervisor at the place, and they are doing much better. The kids are doing much better in school, specifically the one we were working with. So sometimes it's that, one person at a time approach, and sometimes when we are places, we can, people will end up coming to us and we help them that way as well.
Go ahead. Go.
Just one more example. our biggest, most largest flagship initiative, a program that we run internally, is a community school partnership with the RUSD. One of the pillars of that program is parent engagement. So one example would be when we started our partnership with Knapp Elementary just under 10 years ago, we were told that we would be lucky if we had 50 individuals show up for a feedback session on what they wanted to see in the new school. And now we have averaged over 500 individuals that are coming to those parent nights and engagement nights. It's a fundamental of ensuring that the family's going to be successful. We look at it from a holistic approach, and that's how we support a lot of the programs that we invest in, is looking at holistic supports for the entire family. So parent engagement is a fundamental for all of those.
That's a good comment.
Sure, go ahead.
I want to thank you all for excellent presentation, and Hope knows me. And I must say that family is the base of what all we try to do. And we have to keep them in mind, of course, but that's a hard thing to do. And that's got to be done through collaboration. That's my opinion. And I think from all the wonderful Racine County, from the towns to the village to the cities, all the wonderful Racine County will be better equipped with this presentation that you're doing. And I have no doubt in my mind that it will work. I think it'll be set the standards for the state and also for the federal government as a good example. So thank you so much. And we appreciate all what you're trying to do for us. So thank you very much.
Supervisor Spencer.
Thank you. Your reference to the firefighters, just a couple of days ago, I met with 3 guys from Local 321, and they brought up the program, and they're so impressed with the work that the kids are doing and how they put their hearts and souls into it. And they go out on some of the calls with them, and just like, sometimes the kids are so fired up that they actually have to kind of protect them from certain situations.
On the news too.
But they were just really excited to talk about how great that program was. What I'm curious about, I've known about your 3 separate entities, for a long time. But how long have you been working together? Is this just part of since continuum of care? No. So
Honestly, Ally's right, that probably when we started really having more intentional and routine meetings was after COVID. Because that was the first conversation that kind of pulled us all together to solve things more of a community-wide approach instead of, what's going on here, what's going there. And, and honestly, the only area, and I mentioned this, is that we're still trying to infiltrate a little bit more is the housing. And that's challenging for everybody. So our community is not alone, but it is absolutely to me, that's our sort of next huge issue that we need to tackle in this.
Yeah. One of the things that I've, found out in being involved in the community is that there are so many separate groups working toward the same causes, and it's fabulous to see that we're pulling it together. And there are more groups out there who are working on housing that I'm sure you can connect with and probably already have, but it's fantastic. Thank you.
Look, I just want to tell you one thing. Hopefully they weren't all excited because we do a chili cook-off with the fire departments. Did they tell you about that? And they beat us this year. Usually our kids win, but they beat us this year. So they might have been extra excited this year. The challenge is on next year.
Supervisor Trotter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I have the last word, and I have a brief comment. I want to say, Ally, Hope, and Jody, thank you so much for the presentation. It reflects how important collaboration amongst government, United Way, and RUSD is. We all have to remember that in this room, the collaboration efforts amongst your 3 groups and the community. And we continue to do these collaborations and these actions, we're going to see growth. We're going to be growing economically. We're going to be growing population-wise in this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Item number 6, reading of the minutes of the previous.
Okay.
Item number 6, reading of the minutes of the previous meeting, which is automatically waived unless requested by the majority of the members present. Item number 7, resolutions and ordinances referred to committee.
There are none.
Introduction of resolutions and ordinances for first reading and referral.
Resolution number 2024-95 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing the donation of 10 county-owned in-rem properties to the Racine Revitalization Partnership for Community Development. And resolution number 2024-96 by Government Services Committee urging Governor Evers and the Wisconsin Legislature to support county courts.
Communications and claims.
Number 1, public comments from Mark Hertzberg and David Easley regarding the ice rink.
Item number 1 is received and filed in the county clerk's office.
Number 2, construction notice regarding work along Wisconsin 164 Henbury Avenue to Danoon Road in Waukesha County, beginning in March from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. And number 3, letter regarding funds transfer from Racine County to the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission for planning services.
Item number 2 and 3 are referred to the Economic Development and Land Use Planning Committee.
Number 4, Racine County Facilities Management Notable Project Status Report for the month of February 2025.
Item number 4 is referred to Public Works, Parks, and Facility Committee.
Numbers 5 and 6 are legal claims against the county, and items number 7 through 24 are notifications from the United States Bankruptcy Court.
Items number 5 through 24 are referred to the Finance and Human Resource Committee and Corp Council.
Supervisor Wishaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like a copy of number 2, please.
Supervisor Horth.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like copies 2, 3, and 4, please.
Supervisor Spencer.
Copies number 3 and 4, please.
Supervisor McReynolds.
Copies of number 2 and 3, please.
Supervisor Coleman, did you want?
Thank you, Chairman. 5, 6, and 10, please.
Any other requests? I'll have items 2, 4, 5, and 6. Thank you. Communications from the county executive.
Report number 2024-55 by County Executive making an appointment to the Prairie Lakes Library System Board of Trustees.
I refer that to the executive committee.
And report number 2024-56 by County Executive making an appointment to the Commission on Aging and the Aging and Disability Resource Center Board.
Referral to Health and Human Services.
And also, I would just remind the county board supervisors that we did have a memorandum that was emailed to all of you from our county executive relating to the ICE Center. That will also appear on your communications listing for next time with referral to the Finance Committee.
Item number 11, standing committee reports containing recommendations on items referred.
There are no items.
Second reading of resolutions and ordinances.
Under majority vote, we have resolution number 2024-91 by Public Works, Parks, and Facilities Committee authorizing application and acceptance of outdoor recreation trail aids, county snowmobile trail aids funding through the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources in the amount of $49,311 within the Parks 2024 budget. And ordinance number 2024-92 by Public Works, Parks, and Facilities Committee amending Chapter 12 of the Racine County Code of Ordinances related to Racine County Highway K.
Mr. Chairman.
Motion's been seconded and made. I see we have Director Bean out there and also Supervisor Hopkins. Why don't you lead us in?
Yeah, we're looking at look at the first resolution.
With the Public Works?
Yeah.
Yeah. The trail.
First
Snowmobile
resolution,
trail.
that's a 2024-91. That's a funding ordinance. That's money from the state in an amount of $49,311 $1,311. The county's just a pass-through. This is funding that goes towards maintenance of the snowmobile trails. Funding that comes from restoration of snowmobile vehicles. So, like I said, the county's just a pass-through, and it was unanimously approved.
Thank you. Before we go on to the next under the ordinance, Supervisor Trotter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm requesting, as we speak, our FHR committee convene now to approve this resolution 2024-91 in the fiscal note. As the chairman just said, it was brought to my attention that this approval was missed by the FHR committee. Public Works did approve this resolution, but according to our ordinance, FHR committee must also. Therefore, I'm looking for a first and a second from our FHR committee to approve resolution 2024-91.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the fiscal note for this resolution.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposition? Hearing none, this resolution passes the FHR committee.
Okay, Supervisor Hopkins, continue with the ordinance.
That was for that.
Yeah, that's for the ordinance 2024-92 now on Highway K.
All right, so just in regards to 2024-92, for this ordinance, this is to establish it of a no parking zone, trying to Highway K to the north side of County Truck K from 225 feet east of the center line, Robert Street, to a point 250 meters east of Morris Street. This was brought to attention of us by the church that said there were some sightline issues and some safety concerns. And so it was approved just to extend parking restriction in that said area as a matter of safety. Business that was on that road was in favor as well, and that was unanimously approved. So just extending the no park zone so we can extend that side of view for safety concerns. That was unanimously approved.
Are there any comments, questions on either item? So this is a voice majority vote. We've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion's carried.
Now, under 2/3 majority vote, we have resolution number 2024-90 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing a multi-year contract with Discover Media Works and transfer of $105,000 within the 2025 Finance and County Executive Economic Development Budget. Resolution number 2024-93 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing the settlement of the claim of Ronald Baumgart, and resolution number 2024-94 by Finance and Human Resources Committee authorizing the settlement of the lawsuit of Judith Henkes.
Mr. Chairman. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Supervisor Trotter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution 2024-90 pertains to the Discover Wisconsin Partnership. The campaign will showcase our Racine County as a desirable place to live, work, and visit. The commitment is for 4 years at $105,000 per year. I'm excited about this, looking forward to this. We heard public comment about this, so I'm supporting this resolution. I'll move on to resolution 2024-93 and 2024-94. As it's normal and customary, these two claims, Mr. Ronald Baumgart and Miss Judith Henkes, please refer to our legal counsel should you have any questions.
Are there any questions? So this is a 2/3 majority vote. Our system up. Logging in.
Next, go forward. One more. All have voted and motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 13, reconsiderations of resolutions and ordinances from previous meetings and or actions on vetoes.
There are no items.
Reconsideration of and or notice of intent to reconsider resolutions and ordinances.
There is no notice.
Information reports.
We have none on tonight's agenda.
Miscellaneous business announcements and oral reports. Supervisor Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We received tonight report 2024-56, which is an appointment to the Commission on Aging and the Aging and Disability Resource Center Board. It's referred to Health and Human Development, but since that committee will not meet before our next board meeting, I just want to alert the committee members that I'll be asking for a recommendation from that committee to the full board at our next full board meeting.
Any other announcements? Seeing none. We are adjourned.